Hi everyone! Thanks for watching video PdPR at MyKuale. I'm teacher Kina. Will be sharing with you about the SPM 999 Paper 3 speaking test. Throughout this video, I will be going to share with you about the elements in the speaking test that you as SPM candidate should know and the assessment criteria that the examiner will be looking during the speaking test. When preparing for your speaking test, there are three important things you should be aware of. The first thing you should know is the speaking format. The second thing you should also be informed is the interaction patterns occur at each part in the test, as this will prepare you for the most important thing. That is number 3, the type of interaction features required. Alright boys and girls, let me introduce you to the SPM speaking format. The test consists of 3 parts, which I will explain to you later how each part is different. The other thing you should be aware of is the duration of the test. Part 1 and Part 2 last for 3 to 4 minutes, while Part 3 lasts for 4 to 5 minutes. The whole test should roughly last for about 13 minutes. Very important to remember, this is a spontaneous speaking test and you are not allowed to bring any notes into the test room. So, multiple time-bound speaking practices beforehand would really help. Please also note that this test contributes a total of 24 marks in your SPM English end result. This is a visual on how the test room should look like. During the test, you and your partner will be sitting before an examiner or called as interlocutor. The interlocutor is a person who will manage the interaction in the test. There is also another examiner called assessor who is responsible to assess your speaking performance using an assessment scale. Here is the summary of the stages in the speaking test. The first part is called interview, where you will be interviewed by the interlocutor. Part 2 is called the individual long turn, where you will be given a topic and you will be speaking individually for a minute on the given topic. Part 3 is called the discussion, where you will be talking about an issue or topic with your partner. So let's look a little bit closely at each part of the test. Part 1. Part 1 is called interview. Part 1 has 2 phases. The first phase is general introductions and the second is focused on a specific theme, for example, daily routines. During phase 1, the interlocutor will introduce him or herself and the assessor and ask few general questions about yourself, such as what is your name, where do you live, and how do you come to school. During phase 2, the interlocutor will ask you general questions on familiar topics such as your daily routine, studies, home, or interest and hobby. This part should help you to relax and talk naturally. What should you do during this first part? Naturally, it is expected that you should be able to respond to the questions given with an explanation. If you have trouble to answer the question, do not hesitate to ask. A question like "I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?" will inform the interlocutor that you need a more simplified question. If possible, train yourself to give a longer explanation than just yes or no, as this may impact your score. Part 2. Part 2 is known as the individual long turn. During the long turn, the interlocutor will give you a task which asks you to talk about a particular topic, including points to cover as you speak. Before you speak, you will be given 20 seconds to think. You will then be asked to talk for about 1 minute on the topic you have been given. Please note that you will not be interrupted by the interlocutor during this time, so it is important to keep talking. Once you have finished, the interlocutor will turn to your partner and ask a question related to the topic you just talked about. It is also important to note that you will also be asked to listen while your partner is speaking. Make sure to give an appropriate and relevant response when asked. What is expected from you? During this part, you should be able to demonstrate your ability to be talking and describing about people, places, situation, or experience. Or you might also be asked to explain and give reasons, express and justify opinions. Remember to give clear and well organized description or explanation using a wide range of vocabulary as you speak. Avoid repetition of ideas and long pauses as much as you can, and this can only be achieved with practices. Part 3. Part 3 is known as the discussion, as it is a two-way interaction between you and your partner. During the discussion, you and your partner will be asked to speak on a topic for about 2 minutes, prompted by a mind map which presents a focused question with some ideas that meant to help you to build up the discussion. For example, the main question would be, why do people shop online? And the ideas are time saving, no crowds, and etc. After 2 minutes of discussion, the candidates are then given a further minute to make a decision connected to the theme of the task. For example, decide together which is the most popular reason people shop online. Then, the interlocutor will ask a further discussion question based on the same theme. For example, in what ways does advertising on social media influence people's buying behavior? And the candidates have a further 2 minutes to answer. So, what is expected from you? Do not worry about having to give a definite, mutually agreed answers, as the focus of this part is more on the quality of the language you use in the discussion and how you and your partner work together towards a decision. Thus, it is important that you learn and practice the strategies of turn-taking and language of exchanging opinions, expressing likes and dislikes, and negotiating agreement. There are 3 criteria that are used to assess you during the speaking test. The first one is grammatical range and accuracy. The assessor will be looking at things like pronouns. Are pronouns like he, she, they, them, her, and his used correctly when referring to people mentioned? Do you use correct tenses when describing past, present, or future? Do you produce a short or long sentences? And do you use a variety of simple and complex structures when you are speaking? Do you use cohesive devices and connectors to show connections in ideas as you speak? Another aspect that the assessor is looking at is your vocabulary range. The assessor looks to see if you use a variety of words or do you often repeat words. And also, do you use uncommon or unusual words such as tactic, elite, chaotic, etc. as you're speaking. Finally, the assessor is also looking at communicative competence. Basically, the assessor is looking at your ability to maintain a flow of language without unnatural hesitation. Can you express yourself spontaneously with little difficulty to search for expressions and repetition of words? Can you initiate, maintain, develop, and close a conversation naturally? Do you stay on topic when you speak? Are you able to express your ideas and opinions? Can you relate contributions to your partner and negotiate towards an outcome? Okay, boys and girls, the key to nail speaking test is knowing what criteria are used in the assessment. So start practice now. So that's an overview on what to expect during the SPM 999 speaking test. I hope you found this information useful. Thank you.